Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd. Nice to see you again on my channel. A special shout out to my subscribers and of course my Riverdale fans, because it's time once again. Riverdale, what the hell Riverdale, Review Dale, and I'm trying to keep my tears in because this one kind of hit close. You know, like usually Riverdale's like, oh my god, this happened, oh my god, this twist, but this was a very special episode of Riverdale about the dangers of alcoholism. It was so special that even CoverGirl was like, you know what? They're trying to teach people tonight something. We gonna cut back, just show one blatant product placement in this episode, okay? Nothing more, just one big giant product placement with Betty's mom makeup right near the camera. She's all like this. That's it. Easy breezy beautiful. Before I get into the episode, I think some congratulations are in order. Congratulations, Riverdale. It was announced this week that Riverdale has been renewed for a second season. Yes! Congratulations, Riverdale. And sure enough, when those new episodes come out, I'll be right there, ready to do my recaps after. So, I got you, Riverdale. Congratulations. But now let's get into this episode. So, yes, this episode starts off so awesome. So, Jughead is having a dream that he is just having the perfect life. His friends are perfect. Betty is by his side. Everyone is happy and smiling. The Coopers actually love him, the parents. And what better way to display a perfect life than to have the main characters that were in this section dressed up like classic Archie characters. They got Jughead in the classic shirt with the big S and the classic Jughead hat. Betty and Veronica are dressed like the classic style. They even have Archie come in with the bow tie and the sweater vest with the white shirt underneath. It was like perfect, perfectly looked like the old school Archie comics. But of course it's a dream. It can't last, because the reason why Jughead wants to have this happiness is because he's not happy with his father, Skeet Ulrich, who we know is one of the leaders of the South Side Serpents. He's a bad dude, but as far as Jughead's side is concerned, he's just a drunk. He gets wasted, he's not looking for work, his place is a mess, and he's just not taking care of himself, and that's why Jughead is not at home. He was living at the drive-in until that closed down, so now he's living in the school. He has a whole set up, he's been using the showers at school, but then Archie eventually finds out what's going on when he bumps into Archie one morning. So Archie now knows that Jughead is homeless, wants to help him out, but Jughead doesn't want the help. He just wants his dad to get work again, and Jughead knows that Jughead's dad lost his job because of Archie's dad, so the favor that Jughead asks instead is to get Archie's dad to rehire Jughead's dad to have him work on the drive-in construction so that he can have a job again. But that's not the only thing that Jughead is worried about. He's also looking out for Betty because Betty is concerned about Polly. If you remember from last week's episode, Polly escaped out of the youth home that she was staying in, and she's pregnant with Jason Blossom's baby, and they have no idea where she is. Betty is talking about it with Jughead, Archie, Veronica, and Kevin. Again, I mentioned this before about this show likes to seem to do some weird close-ups at weird times for Kevin. So Betty is talking about what happened, and as soon as she mentioned they didn't know who burned up the car, remember the car last week that had Jason's jacket as well as drugs inside of it? She mentioned something about the car getting set on fire and maybe somebody following them, and then there's this weird close-up just of Kevin's face looking at them like he doesn't say anything. It's just a close-up of his face looking at him. I'm telling you, man, Kevin is hiding something. I don't know what, but there is something about Kevin that we do not know about. I'm waiting to find out. When does Kevin get his close-up episode? I feel it coming. I don't trust Kevin. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody in Riverdale. And you also can't trust people enough to have conversations about Polly being missing in public, because one of Cheryl's friends is overhearing the conversation, texts Cheryl, and then Cheryl's like, oh, I got some dirt. So she goes over to the police station where Cheryl's mom is already talking to Sheriff Keller, and Cheryl tells them the information that she knows, that Polly has escaped, and apparently she escaped the same night that this car full of evidence got set on fire. So Cheryl believes that Polly must be the killer of Jason Blossom, and rather than waiting for the police to do their job, she's already tweeting to everybody that she knows that Polly is out there and that she's gonna find her. I'm gonna find you. This of course freaks Betty out. She's gotta find Polly before the Blossoms do, so she sets up a search party with all of her friends and her parents to try to find out where Polly is. But the Blossoms have got their own search party. It is like crazy. It's like dueling search parties. Like they come face to face like, I'm gonna search better than you. oh yeah, you got searched. And of course, Cheryl Blossom's mom and Betty Cooper's mom come face to face, straight Hatfield and McCoy style, just talking smack to each other. And then Cheryl's mom's like, I'm gonna tell the whole city what's going on. As soon as I find your daughter, Riverdale gonna know what the Coopers are really like. So Betty's mom is like, oh man, now I gotta make a press conference to clear my name. Is this how we gonna do this? Is this how it's gonna go down in Riverdale? But wait, let's back up a bit. While Betty was having that conversation with her friends about what was going on with Polly, Jughead puts his hand around Betty, and everybody was like, hold up, what, wait, what? So later on, Archie talks to Jughead and is like, hey dude, what's going on with you and Betty? And then Veronica's like, hey girl, what's going on with you and Jughead? And okay, here's my thing about Betty and Jughead. I'm happy, it's cute. They even kissed again in this episode, Bughead. But is it me, or do you notice that every time that Betty talks about her relationship with Jughead, she never refers to it as a relationship? Like, even when Veronica confronts her and is like, what's going on with you and Jughead? She never says like, oh, I like him, oh, he's my boyfriend. She's like, I was in a vulnerable time and Jughead was there for me. Okay, well, so was some of your other friends. You're not making out with them. Well, I mean, you made out with Veronica that one time, but we know that was for the trailer. And even later on when Jughead is walking with Betty, like, I don't know, just something about Betty, she's like liking this thing that she's doing with Jughead and she likes kissing him, but I don't think she's fully committed to it. And I don't know if it's because she's still trying to figure out what's going on with Polly, if she's at a vulnerable place and he's just helping him. I'm just a little worried because, how can I say, without saying too much about my personal life, I have seen this happen before where somebody's in a weird place and you just happen to be the person that's there when they're in their down place, and your support, your comfort is so good that it turns into a more loving emotion. And then when you get back to your normal place, you're like, oh, now I'm thinking straight again. No, this is not gonna be a thing. And I'm really worried that that's what's gonna happen here. That's my worry. I hope maybe it won't happen, but given that the triangle has always been Archie, Betty, Veronica, they can be dating all these other people all they want to, but I just have a feeling that it's gonna come back to that triangle, and at that point, it's gonna be messed up. And then going back to the dream sequence, there's a part where Archie walks over to Jughead and he says, why'd you stab me in the back? And they literally have a knife in his back. Was he referring to Jughead liking Betty? Or was that in reference to something else that we don't even know yet? Or is there something from a past episode that I just missed? Because if I remember correctly, Archie was the one that betrayed on Juggy because Jughead wanted to do this weekend vacation with him on the 4th of July weekend. And instead, Archie was like, Miss Grundy, let's do this. Was it the Betty thing or was it something else? I don't know. Anyway, just throwing all that out there. I'm worried about Bughead. I'm worried about Jughead specifically because the man is having problems with emotional attachments, as we can see with his dad, who gets drunk constantly, doesn't want to find a job. When Jughead finally confronts him and says, you got to do something. This is why my mom left us. This is why she took Jellybean with her. Yep, that's what happened with Jellybean. Mom left, took Jellybean with her. Jellybean's not part of the Serpents. Jellybean's not dead. Jellybean's not missing. She's just with her mom. Oh, well, that's normal. I was looking for something more dark from Riverdale, but that's cool too. Jughead's dad finally is like, you know what? My son needs me. I need to stop being this serpent and being this bad person and being this drunk and not being responsible. I'm gonna go up, swallow my pride, talk to Fred Andrews, and try to get that job back. Oh, it was also weird when Jughead's dad went back to work for Archie's dad and was like, oh, by the way, here's my other co-worker, Hermione Lodge. And he's like, oh, the woman I brought the snake to, she works here now, ooh. And so, of course, they have a little conversation when Archie's dad goes away, and Jughead's dad tells Hermione, like, look, he don't know I'm a Southside Serpent, keep your mouth shut. Also, we cool, your husband paid the money we were owed, we good. Sorry about the snake thing, but I'm just saying, you don't cause any problems for us, we cool with you. Snakes don't attack if you don't step on them or something. This is where, you know, without getting into personal territory from Andre, I can't put all my stuff out there. I'm just saying, I've seen before this type of person. Someone who has a problem with alcohol or drugs or whatever you want to put in that position. There's all kinds of things that you can get addicted to. But something that's clearly taken over your life and you keep saying, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better. And you get some opportunity like this and you're like, great, everything's on the right track, everything's good to go. And then that one little thing that happens in your life that just triggers a response to you, and it's right back to the bottle and right back to going back down. And that's what hurt when I saw that Jughead's dad took this job, because I'm like, this ain't gonna last. Something gonna happen, somebody gonna say something, and it's gonna take it all downhill. And of course, the person that had to say something was freaking Archie. Can you not do anything right, Archie? Because Jughead's dad is happy, and he's all like, let's go out to dinner. And of course, they go to Pops, and they're hanging out, and they're talking about Jughead's dad and Archie's dad's old days of playing music together and being part of a band and being friends. And then that check comes up, and then Jughead said, like, I got it. Archie's dad, no, like, I got it. And Jughead said, look, I got it. I can pay for this. Besides, I owe you. And Archie's like, what? He owes you? And then Archie asks later, well, what's the whole owing thing? And Jughead's like, shut up, Archie, you gonna get him back on that bottle again. And then Jughead dad tells his whole story about how he used to be partners with Fred Andrews on the Andrews construction business. They were hand in hand, best buds, working together, partners. But something happened with Jughead's dad, and Archie's dad bailed him out, which he appreciated. But in turn, Archie's dad was like, but you can't be part of the business anymore. You a liability, so you gone. And he lost half of his share of the company, which Jughead's dad felt was wrong, because the money that Archie's dad used to bail him out of trouble was nowhere near the money that he probably had being half of an owner of a company. And then that got him mad about his past, and then he was like, where's that bottle? Where's that bottle? I'm mad now. Let's go, Jughead. We gotta get home. Oh no, poor Jughead. But we'll get back to Jughead. Let's talk about Veronica for a second. So Veronica is still mad that her mom betrayed her, forged her name on a signature to get Fred Andrews to have the construction job to do the work on the drive-in land, because Hermione's got a little something about Fred Andrews, and Veronica's not liking that. She's like, I got a dad, he's in jail, but you still married to him, you hooking up with this dude, and you took my name, so therefore I'm gonna get bad girl on you. I'm gonna go shopping without your permission, I'm gonna go outside when I feel like it without your permission, and I'm gonna go clubbing. What? So Veronica goes out clubbing to defy her mother. She goes out with Josie, she goes out with Kevin, and she goes out with my favorite dude on this show. You know who he is. Asian dude bro Reggie. She goes out with Asian dude bro Reggie, and it's this whole dance sequence where they're all dancing and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. Veronica and Josie and Kevin and Asian dude bro Reggie dancing along in the club, even though they ain't supposed to be in the club because they too young. Well, in actual life, they are of age, but in this show, they too young to be in there. But Veronica's mom like, oh, you gonna go out? You gonna go out with your friends? You gonna go out with Kevin and Josie and Asian dude bro Reggie on my credit cards? I don't think so. Oh, hey, operator, I believe my credit cards have been stolen. Please cut them off. And then Veronica gets her cards cut off while she's in the club. She's like, oh, touche, mother, touche. So they have a little talking. They figure everything out and negotiate. She's like, all right, you can keep doing your thing with Fred Andrews. Just don't bring it in the house. And mom's like, cool, no more clubbing. And I will eventually tell your dad what I did. Because her whole thing is that she was like, and she gives this beautiful speech. Like, there's a scene in this where Veronica just brought it with the acting chops. She was just like, look, we lost everything when my dad got arrested. They took our house, they took our cars, they took our clothes. Everything was gone except for my name. Always told her that's the one thing they could never take away from her is her name. And then her own mother literally took her name to use it for this signature. And it was, what the hell, Riverdale? Beautiful job, Camila Mendez. I was really impressed by that scene right there. And the fact that you also were hanging out with Asian dude bro Reggie. But at least Veronica was doing some smart stuff. I'm sorry, I love you, Betty Cooper, you know this, but you were kind of stupid in this episode. Because Betty eventually figures out where Polly is hiding. She used to hide all the time in the attic, so she figured that must be where she is now. And sure enough, Polly is up there hiding in the house in the attic, saying, please don't tell anybody I'm up here. Betty is like, well, we gotta tell our parents, because now they've made this press conference. Alice Cooper does a press conference to basically tell everybody everything. That her daughter is missing, that she's not the killer, and that she is pregnant with Jason Blossom's baby, which it seems like the Blossoms did not know about. And it looks like they're pretty shook up about it, particularly Cheryl Blossom. She's really shook up about it. But Betty's like, well, now that the parents have announced this publicly, they're obviously gonna let you stay here. And she's like, no, they're gonna make me give him up for adoption. I don't wanna do that. I wanna keep him. And when Betty talks to mom and dad, it's just like, just hypothetically, now that Polly's information out there, she can stay here and have the baby here, right? Betty's mom and dad are like, no, Polly decided that she wanted to give up the baby for adoption. We talked it over. It was the best decision that she could make. And I'm like, what? Liars! But of course Betty is a bad liar, so when she's confronted by Cheryl, Cheryl immediately figures out that Betty knows where Polly is and is like, look, you have a family member of ours now in your sister's stomach. We want to take care of this niece or nephew that I'm gonna have, so let us help you. So Betty has a meeting with the Blossoms, and the Blossoms are like, we want to give you everything you need for Polly. We'll give you money, we'll give you shelter, anything that Polly needs to take care of that baby, we the Blossoms will provide. Just tell us where Polly is. And I'm like, shut your mouth, Betty. Don't you say nothing, Betty. I literally yelled out, get out! And Betty ain't even black. You know something's bad when a white person is hanging out with other white people and you're yelling to that white person, get out. I guess in retrospect, in comparison, Betty, surrounded by the Blossoms, does kind of make her black in this situation. That's how scary the Blossoms are. They literally made me treat Betty like she was a black person around sinister white people. And I yelled, get out to her. Oh, black Betty, ram the lamb. But Betty was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna tell my parents. I'm like, Betty, you stupid. And then when she takes Polly to wait for the Blossoms to show up, Cheryl Blossom shows up first. She sees Polly pregnant and Cheryl can't even go through with it. She's like, you gotta get out of here. You gotta go. you in danger, girl. So Veronica obviously is like, look, you can stay with us. Polly's gonna stay with the Lodges. This is not gonna be good. And now things aren't looking good for Jughead because he comes to school one day and Sheriff Keller and Mr. Weatherby are there and they happen to have stumbled upon Jughead's murder wall, the one that they remade. Sheriff Keller's like, yeah, Jughead, you're gonna have to come down with us to the station. So he starts questioning Jughead and is like, you got this murder wall, you happen to find the crime scene, your fingerprints were all over it, the car was set on fire. Oh, what's this? Something from your old school records that showed that you tried to burn down the elementary school when you were a kid? And Jughead's like, seriously? He's like, that's pretty much a stretch. And then Sheriff Keller's like, whoa, we ain't done. Seems like you get bullied a lot in school. Seems like you were, what kind of permanent record has that written down? Jughead gets bullied in school. But yeah, it says in Jughead's permanent record, he gets bullied in school, particularly by the football team. And Sheriff Keller's like, Jason Blossom was on said football team. So let's get this straight. You are Jughead Jones, son of a delinquent, who's also been a delinquent, who is bullied by the football team with one of the members of the football team now being dead. Where were you on the week of July 11th? So now Jughead is being questioned like he possibly did it. He's asking for a lawyer. He's asking for help. Luckily, Archie's dad comes in and saves the day. He's like, oh, what week of July 11th? Oh yeah, Jughead was working for me. He was helping me out. He wasn't. It's all a lie. And that, Fred Andrews, you are a class act. The one time that Fred Andrews does something sneaky and sinister, it's to save Jughead. But the entire time that Jughead is at the police station, he's like, call my dad. Is my dad here? Where's my dad? Dad is nowhere to be found. No one can find him. And then sure enough, as soon as he gets out after Archie's dad makes up the lie, then here comes Jughead's dad stumbling in. Oh, I'm sorry, my cell phone was off and I was, are they talking bad about you in there? Do I need to go beat them up? That's my son. And then Jughead is like, please, Dad, you're gonna make this worse. Do not go in there. And then Jughead's dad is like, all right, let's go. And then Archie and Archie's dad is like, you know what, he can stay with us. And Jughead's like, no, I'll go with my dad. And then, hell, seeing somebody that you love and you care about in your face telling you, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna stop drinking, I'm gonna get my life together, just give me time, just give me time. And you're just looking at them and you just know that they are not gonna do it. Like, as much as they want to, as much as they keep saying it, you know they're not gonna do it. And that's the face you see in Jughead this entire time when his dad is telling him this. It's a look of sadness, it's a look of anger, it's a look of depression, just of disappointment, you know, everything, so many emotions going on at that time because he loves his dad. Jughead loves his dad, but he knows his dad is not going to get better, which is why he knows it's probably best to stay with Archie. Cole Sprouse, man, you know, so good. I mean, I know we're all like, Cole Sprouse, sweet life or whatever, but no, man, he brought it in this one. And just that scene alone, without even saying anything, just the looks on his face when Skeet, Skeet is great in this too. Skeet Ulrich is great in this. But just the looks on Jughead's face when he's having to do this scene, it was really, really deep and good. And got nothing but high praise for Cole Sprouse on this show. Like, everything he's brought to this series has always been great, but this episode, just next level. Good job to him. And as predicted, Jughead's dad does not get any better. He's back at home. He is getting wasted, drunk, and he walks by his closet, and you see his Southside Serpents jacket. And then you also notice another jacket, and you look in close, they zoom in close. It's Jason Blossom's football jacket. The same jacket that Jughead and Betty found in the car that caught on fire. Why does Jughead's dad have Jason Blossom's football jacket? That's not good. That ain't good. And there was drugs in that car, and we know the Southside Serpents aren't necessarily favorable people. Yeah, that's not good for Jughead's dad. He's caught up in some mess that may be a little bit more than his usual mess. Oh, shoot. Oh, what the hell, Riverdale. And I'm not going to know what's going to happen until March 30th. The show is going on freaking break, so they're not even doing a new episode until March 30th, man. Come on. You can't end the show with this and then say, like, let's take a break. What? Vampire Diaries need some more time to celebrate their series finale? Huh? You gonna do repeats? I ain't got time for repeats. I need more Riverdale, son. See, that's my addiction. I promise, Jughead, I'll get better. I promise I won't be addicted to Riverdale. Just give me some more time. I just a little bit more time, not much longer. But I'll get there, and I'll stop being addicted to Riverdale, and you can come home, and Jelly Bean can come home, and Mom can come home, and it'll be so good. Just trust me, Jughead. Now give me that Riverdale! Before I kill you! I'm sorry. Yeah, man, this episode, this gave me the feels, but not in the usual Riverdale way. This was more of like the dramatic feels of just this, and it was just sad because Jughead's a good person. And also hoping that him and Betty ends up being good, because this guy wants something good in his life. He wants something good, and I'm just worried that all the things he wants, he may not get. So what'd you think of this episode of Riverdale? Does this help you at all in thinking who might be the murderer of Jason Blossom? Do you trust Polly? Do you trust Hermione? Do you trust anybody? Is there anyone in Riverdale left to trust? I still don't trust Kevin. I'm telling you, man. Them close-ups of Kevin, I don't know if that's just cinematic creative vision. I think it might be like a, what's going on? Maybe I don't even trust Josie at this point. She dropped that, my mom's a mayor on somebody real quick, so maybe that's got her out of trouble before. You know what? I don't trust Melody. She hardly talks. Maybe she did something. Maybe the Pussycats did something. Maybe Jason Blossom gave him a bad review and they're like, oh, we got your ass. I don't trust anybody. I don't even trust myself. If you are a fan of Riverdale and you have not subscribed, please subscribe, because I do Riverdale recaps every time a new episode comes out. It's been a lot of fun. Or if you just like seeing my silliness, please subscribe and also ring that bell so you can be notified of future videos that I make. Be part of the notification squad that's saved by the bell. I love you like the play cousin. I'm Audi 5000. Chain chomp yomp.